As with any other form of entertainment media, the first impression is one of the most important parts of introducing it to an audience. That is why this part will focus solely on the introduction. What I want to start with is an introductory cutscene. Let me state right out that for the rest of this concept and future ones that I will not be creating my own story. I will be focusing mainly on gameplay elements only. Start with like a family in a nice suburban neighborhood, showing the everyday life of our main character. Then, somehow, someway, a zombie outbreak occurs, and it causes a major catastrophic event to leave the entire neighborhood destroyed, like the intro to COD Ghosts. However the character does it, they end up in a secluded location, preferably somewhere dark and destroyed for a more horror aspect. The player walks forward and hears strange sounds, like a monster running around. A trusty M1911 is laying there for the player on the floor. A brief reload animation plays when they pick it up, revealing the ammo counter in the bottom right like a glitchy computer graphic before stabilizing. 832 ammo is all the player has.
Uncontaminated specimen located.
Skipping along, the player moves up the rubble of the path and encounters their first zombie as a jump scare. It knocks them down on the ground, revealing the health bar in the same way the ammo counter did. It is flashing red and is half gone. The zombie slowly walks towards the player. The player has to shoot it. Upon doing so, the player stands there in shock for a moment. They look at their hand and see a small spiral of energy wrap around their hand. When they close their fist on it, it reveals the points the player earned, a measly 90 of 115. We will be using the CW point system in the beginning. The player's health regenerates back to full, and they are given control again. The player fights past a few more zombies and ends up in another secluded area, unable to backtrack. But now the iconic original round change sound plays and reveals a single red scratch mark in the middle of the screen before settling it in the top right. The zombies come and the player slays, but they only have so much ammo. This iteration of the M1911 kills a single zombie in 7 shots on round 1 once more. Eventually, the player falls back and finds the box of Juggernog. Drinking Juggernog only gives the player an extra 100 health, allowing a 4-hit down. All perks will be nerfed for reasons explained further in the next part. The box and jug only take the player so far. At round 10, the zombies are relentless and the area becomes cramped. That is until a military convoy, or special partner, comes in to save the player. They join them and escape, leading to the hub world. Despite what the general consensus of COD World War II was, I loved the idea of the hub world in World War II multiplayer. So I think it would be a really good idea to add one in this game. I think the individual activities inside of the hub world can help players try to learn new things about the game and help de-stress players in between gaming sessions. Though of course, just like World War II, it is optional should the player just want to hop right into the game. With that, there are 3 specific areas within this hub world that will serve as the biggest attractions. Of course, if we are imitating the World War II hub world, then we need to have a firing range. But there will be a slight caveat. You cannot use pack-a-punch versions of weapons unless they are brought back after a game. You would have to do this with every weapon. This may be a little tedious for some players, but it is a way of encouraging replayability and also playing with different guns. This will be further elaborated upon in Part 5. Then there is the Survival Mosh Pit. It functions similar to that of the multiplayer Mosh Pit from World War II, but it features random challenges for up to 4 players to enjoy. It can feature co-op or competitive challenges. The way I'd structure it is to have several tiny mini-games to be competed in rapid succession. Kind of like the WarioWare games. You can find all the mini-games I've come up with in the description. The zombies are replaced by Nuketown mannequins, or ADAM units. Winning enough challenges in this mosh pit will grant the player the unique melee weapon of Lefty from BO3. And just as another little incentive, competitors can be bet on by other players using Aether Crystals. And competitors who complete a quota of survival minigames can earn a free, predetermined blueprint every week. And lastly, we have contracts, a revamped version of the daily XP missions from Cold War, and basically the same as the contracts from World War II. They are challenges a player can accept that will reward players with XP, Aether Crystals, emblems and calling cards, weapons not obtained through challenges or level up, free blueprints, and one more item that I will tell you about. A player can accept and work towards 5 daily challenges and 3 weekly challenges at the same time. There will be 15 daily challenges to choose from every day and 9 weekly challenges every week. It is with these that I believe will be one of the greatest contributors towards replayability in this game. Then there are the general stations the player will use to modify their kit. There's the loadout station where the player will modify their weapon and field upgrade presets. There is a mission hangar where players can access the various zombies maps. And there is the armory, essentially useless at first, but if the player progresses far enough in the game, the player can use this station to choose between either the Cold War armor or the BO3 or BO4 like shields, which will block all damage, melee attacks, projectiles and all, but only in the direction it's facing. But of course, for the impatient, there will also be an option to access all of these stations through the pause menu. Now, there is one more station that I've excluded, but I think I'll need a whole nother part to explain it sufficiently, or convince people, because I'm wholeheartedly sure that this new feature may run into some heavy resistance. I'm sure some people may have guessed already by the little foreshadow clip, but stay tuned for part 3.